My mother died when I was almost 11. So he ran the show pretty much on, it was a load. That was in 1951. So he had the misfortune of being born on July the 2nd, 1898. If the date is resonating, it's because it was the day the United States declared war on Spain. He didn't have a clue. And I couldn't blame him, you know. And, you know, when I was in high school, I'd be doing plays. You know, I was always in a play.
Right.
And I'd say, you know, Pop, I'm going to be opening in a play. You know, I'd do 3 or 4 plays a year, you know, and I'd always tell him, I got tickets. Oh, honey, I'm going to come into there. I'd be into there. He'd never show up. You know? But it was part of his ritual, part of his routine, you know. You know, it's interesting what I just said, because he, even as old, I mean, I was 36 when he died, he still called me honey. To the end. He called all of us honey. He looked at any one of his sons or daughters. The only time he saw me on stage was when I was on Broadway in 1965. I opened in 64 and I ran through all of 64. The subject was roses, and it was a story about fathers and sons, you know. And I was so excited. He came to New York. He stayed with us for a week while he waited for his boat. He took a boat from New Jersey to Spain. He was going to go home and live he was going to live out his years in Spain. He just retired. He got to Spain. He lasted 6 months, you know, because no electricity, there was nothing, nowhere to, you know. He was like going back, and he was just, you know, I said, no, my children are in America, and he came back. He was extraordinary, and he came and stayed with us, and that week we would be dark on Monday, and on Tuesday we got word that Mrs. Johnson was coming to see the play with one of her daughters, First Lady, Lady Bird Johnson. I was so excited, and they told us to be prepared for a lot of security at the theater when we arrived, and I had tickets for my dad and my sister and my brother and my wife also. And I remember telling my dad I was so excited because he would be in the audience with Mrs. Johnson. He said, oh, no, I'm not going into there. No, I have to wait. I said, Pop, come on, it's the first play. I'm not going into there. Tomorrow, but no, in the night. No, I'm not going over there. No, I said, too much. He didn't want to be right. He was so shy. He didn't.
Really? He didn't go?
No. He came the next night after Mrs. Johnson, and I think it was one of her daughters, Linda, came, and we met them backstage, and they were just so charming, and it was wonderful. It was a very proud moment for all of us. He walked everywhere. He'd walk to the factory, he'd walk home, he'd walk to church, he'd come home. Those are the 2 places he went on a regular basis. He would go downtown every Wednesday night. When I was a teenager, we made great fun of him. He joined what we call the old men's club, and he'd go down and dance every Wednesday night. You'd pay. They used to have these ballrooms. You'd pay, you know, to dance.
Who are you most like among your 4 children?
Emilio,
yes.
without question. He is responsible in ways that I was like my father. Scrupulously.
Really?
Oh, God. Scrupulously honest and responsible and loyal. I look at Emilio, I see myself. Yeah, he is stubborn like me, which stands him well in this business. Emilio is extremely disciplined. He's also equally sensitive, and he doesn't always let on that side. He's like my father in that sense. He hides that, you know. He's very shy, believe it or not. Very shy. He's extremely courteous and honestly loving. He loves what he does. Watching him on the set is such a thrill to watch him direct, because he is so caring and compassionate towards the actors. He loves the actors. And he begins the scene by saying, action please. And then he ends the scene, cut please, thank you. You know, every take. It's just his natural way. And one time we did a film he directed that nobody saw. If you get a chance, get it in the video store. It's called The War at Home with Kathy Bates. Bates and I played his parents. He was magnificent. He directed it and he started it.
Wow.
And one day I came early to the set and he was directing Kathy Bates. She's one of the best actresses in the world.
I know. She's amazing.
And, yes, and he's directing her in a very deeply private moment. She has to look in the mirror and suddenly we have to realize that she realizes something deeply personal and painful about herself. I thought, Kathy Bates is listening to him and allowing him to direct her. You know, what am I worried about? You know, this kid knows what he's doing, and he does. And he learned the hard way. And he remembered something I totally forgot about. We were in Mexico in 1969 in January doing Catch 22. We were there for 4 months. And we came over here to Los Angeles. It was either in late April or early May. I rented a car in Tucson, Arizona. And we drove to Los Angeles and didn't stop anywhere until we went right to the Ambassador Hotel. And I took the family in the kitchen. And he remembered it. He was 7. He was born in 62, May of 62.
Oh.
And he never forgot it. Forgot all about it. That was the first thing I did when I came to Los Angeles.
Was that you rented a car?
Drove right to that place. When I went in the kitchen, and I told the lads, this is sacred ground. This is where the music stopped. Forgotten that journey. It was like a pilgrimage. I was just determined to do it, you know. Well, I was 28.
What was the toughest thing you went through with your kids?
There would have to be, without question, sticking it out with Charlie.
With Charlie. Mm-hmm.
But there were valleys and hills, you know, and it was a horrible roller coaster ride because, you know, so often there'd be reason to celebrate and rejoice, and then you'd be devastated by an equal measure of darkness and despair, you know. And then it culminated the year he finally got sober, because he was very close to the end.
And your fondest memory about your kids?
My fondest memory?
Mm-hmm.
God, they're so endless, you know. The best and the worst is yet to come. I'm sorry, but it is. Because, you know, as a parent, what you want to do, you know, your natural inclination is to protect them from everything. And you must do this.
Mm-hmm.
But when they start heading for the door, you know, you have to open the door for them, or at least unlock it. If you don't, then they won't come back. You have to let them know. As soon as you start helping your child walk, they start to become independent. And if you prevent their growth, then they resent it. And it's the most difficult fine line to walk, is enough to let them go and know you are welcome back. Because otherwise it's like holding a little animal or a bird.
Right.
I'm afraid you're going to get eaten by the hawk. I'm afraid you're going to die. And you cripple the bird. The bird does not learn to fly. So you cripple it. Because of your own love is too, it's not, you know, it's not courageous enough. It's selfish. Your love is selfish that way. And it's natural. All of us feel that way. I would love to take up all the pain of my children.
Exactly.
But you cannot. Otherwise you deny them their right to live. They have to experience it. That is the most painful thing about parenting.
Yeah, you just have
is
to
knowing they have to do this. And there's nothing you can do.
Really,
You just be there
nothing?
for them. Love them all the more, unconditionally, totally and completely. Love them. Let them know that that door is always, always, always unlocked, which is really the door to your heart.